Welcome back to Small Biz Matters here, reporting from XeroCon 2019 in Vegas. We've got John Davey here from NAB, who's one of the major sponsors here at XeroCon. Welcome to the program, John.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
So you were just on stage talking on a panel all about cash flow and improving productivity through cash flow. Now, obviously, accountants and bookkeepers are the advisors to business. Why is it so important that accountants and bookkeepers also get their own act together and make sure that they've got their cash flow in check before they advise their businesses on that?
Well, I suppose we look at bookkeepers and accountants and say they are a critical partner in the success of the businesses that we support. But they're also a small business themselves, and small businesses are really important to us as one of Australia's biggest banks. And strategically, the small business customer segment is one of the most important to us. So we want to make sure that we partner with those organisations that help businesses succeed. And we see accountants and bookkeepers as a critical part of that particular ecosystem.
It's great to see that you're appreciating those advisors in that space, because I guess the evolution of the bookkeeper and the accountant has moved away from the number crunching, the coding, and more into really understanding the business space. Is that one of the reasons why you think that they're great partners for banking models such as yourselves?
Look, it is absolutely, and I think it's a matter of making sure that we as an organisation understand what is required for a business to be successful and who the partners of those businesses are. We see bookkeepers and accountants as a critical partner, and therefore what we want to be able to do is to be able to help businesses succeed, and we want to do that in multiple ways. Part of the way we want to do that is to drive efficiency for both the partners and the businesses themselves, to save them time. We're very aware of the complexity from a bank perspective that can be set up just in terms of filling out application forms, from a payment perspective, the whole ABA file upload process. So what we want to be able to do is to understand where some of that friction sits and then make it easier, provide insights to the businesses and their partners that really they value, and then to make it easier to be able to put actions in place to help those businesses succeed. And it's a matter of understanding whether it's the bookkeeper or the business that requires that information.
And I suppose at the end of that, your relationship is with the business as well. So you've got a number of tools which I noticed on your stand, which are pretty innovative in my mind, that support businesses through helping them through cash flow. Can you list a couple of those examples? Because they're pretty innovative, because they really rely on technology, and a little way they rely on the business to be quite technologically savvy as well. So can you list out some of those for the listeners?
Yeah, look, I mean, I would say first of all that we do see technologies being increasingly important, and certainly the success of a company like Xero has been based on the technology that they have deployed and the fact that they've created an ecosystem that allows other organisations to partner. If I just give you a few examples, first of all, we're one of the first banks or the first bank to be able to provide data feeds, and we think those continue to be really important, both in terms of the richness of the information but the breadth of the accounts that are covered. In the last few weeks, we've actually launched Cash Alerts, which now provides a business or a business owner with the ability to be able to get a notification and to be able to set rules around when they get that notification of payments that have been made into an account. In the coming months, what we'll do is we'll continue to build that out by a business would then be able, or the business or the bookkeeper, will be able to click on a notification, be able to go to the transaction that was performed, and then be able to directly link that to an invoice within Xero. So that's something that's coming shortly. And for a number of years now, we've had in market a product called NAB QuickBiz, which allows a business or an accountant on behalf of the business to be able to go online, be able to apply digitally for an overdraft or an unsecured loan of up to $150,000, for a real-time credit check to be performed through integration into Xero, and to get a cash into an account within a 24-hour period. So it's really tools that we're trying to be able to identify that will help a business manage their cash flow far more effectively, and in many cases that's being able to leverage digital capabilities.
So what's changed in the last 5 years that's opened up, I guess, the scenario so that businesses can access that data? Is it an attitude change where people are like, okay, just look at my bank feeds. I need this information. I need to get quick results. I need to be able to reconcile. I need to be able to get cash flow or overdraft. So just have a look at everything. Is there a change in everyone's mindset over their data sharing, do you think?
Look, I think there's a number of things. I think that What we have seen over the last 5 years is enormous growth in the way that we all as consumers or businesses engage with technology, whether that be our mobile phones or whatever it might be. We've seen that same growth in the way that businesses increasingly start to use technology, and as we have seen that, we've seen a greater willingness of organisations like NAB and Xero to be able to partner, to be able to deliver mutual value for the customers that we work with. I think as that value has been created, what we've seen is customers see that value and take up the services. So it becomes one of those sort of circles where the capability's there, partnerships are created, the value's created, and growth continues to occur. Now what that does mean is that there will be, or there is, increasingly data sharing agreements that are put in place, and certainly in the Australian market over the next 6 months or so, the government is regulating that banks make customer data more available, and we think that that's going to continue to see further growth and further innovation in the market.
So we're almost seeing a deregulation, that's a bad word, but a change in the attitude towards regulators and the association of privacy with this sort of data, because it opens up and allows for better efficiencies. Would you agree with that?
Look, I think I would. The only my caution there is that we are very, very cognizant of the trust that our customers have in the data that we hold about them. And therefore any data sharing which is regulated from a government perspective, it's critical that we as an organisation make sure that we protect our customers' data as much as we possibly can, and that's something that we're absolutely focused on. So I think that the intent that we're all trying to drive towards, to be able to deliver greater value for businesses, greater value for customers, by leveraging data is absolutely right, but it has to be done so in a way that is safe, secure, and maintains the trust that customers, businesses, have with the organisation that they're dealing with, whether that be a bank or whether it be the data that Xero would hold on a particular business as well.
It's an interesting circle of trust, isn't it? Now we've got banks in that circle of trust. The advisors have always been there, hence the word advisor. Yep. Xero has really built up that trust. It's nice to bring banks into the picture, because you guys are sort of maybe the final piece of the puzzle, because you're really the holders of that really private data. So welcome.
Well, thank you. I mean, we would probably say that we have had a lot of information about customers for a long time, and I think that certainly our research suggests that our customers do trust us with their money, but also with their data, and it's very important for anyone in that position to make sure that we recognise and value that trust, and we don't treat it lightly.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for joining Small Biz Matters with Alexi Boyd here on the floor of XeroCon. If you want to find them, you can of course find them anywhere, because they're NAB. Thank you so much for joining us, John Davey from NAB. And if you want to find out more about their great products that they offer to small business and the way that they integrate with Xero, what's the best way that people can find out about that as a small business?
Well, there's information on our website, and for those at Xero, just drop by our stand.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us today, John.